Power, prestige, and memorable characters have always been abundant in the Yellowstone universe. But with the Madison, the expansive neo-Western universe is getting ready to venture into completely uncharted emotional and narrative ground. The proposed spin-off, which will be anchored by two Hollywood icons, Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell, promises a significant change in tone while maintaining the gritty essence that made Yellowstone a cultural icon. The Madison's first impressions point to a more subdued but no less powerful tale of ambition, tragedy, legacy, and the consequences of decisions that affect future generations. This is a reinvention led by seasoned stars whose mere presence heralds a more personal, prestige-driven chapter, rather than just an extension of the Yellowstone brand. The Yellowstone family tree gains a new branch. Yellowstone has developed into a contemporary television powerhouse since its premiere. A drama spanning decades, lineages, and moral fault lines has grown out of what started out as a story about the Dutton family's tenacious hold on their Montana ranch. Each spin-off has examined a certain time period or power perspective, such as generational inheritance, industrial encroachment, or frontier survival. The Madison seems ready to delve deeper. The show focuses on emotional inheritance, the more subdued conflicts fought within families, marriages, and personal histories, instead than just land warfare and physical power. The casting of Pfeiffer and Russell makes it quite evident that this is a purposeful evolution. Michelle Pfeiffer, style blends with emotional sturdiness. The fact that Michelle Pfeiffer is back in a gritty, character-driven TV drama is a statement in and of itself. Pfeiffer, who is renowned for her ability to strike a balance between vulnerability and imposing presence, infuses each role she plays with an uncommon gravitas. According to reports, she plays a lady in the Madison who has been molded by privilege, grief, and long-held regrets. Someone who views power as survival rather than dominance. Early descriptions point to a character that is both powerful and sophisticated, capable of both emotional sincerity and subtle manipulation. Pfeiffer's self-control has always been her greatest asset. Her restrained fury might turn into one of the franchise's most striking contrasts in a setting like Yellowstone, where volatility frequently erupts without warning. Kurt Russell. A Western grit legacy, Kurt Russell believes that the Yellowstone universe is almost meant for him. His work is entrenched in Americana. Tough guys juggling violence, loyalty, and moral uncertainty in equal measure. Russell exemplifies the lived-in sincerity that characterizes this genre, ranging from traditional Western views to contemporary reinventions. Russell is supposed to portray a patriarchal character in the Madison whose power is derived from more than just physical force. Rather, history, what he has created, what he has safeguarded, and what he is prepared to lose, is what gives him power. Russell and Pfeiffer's combination feels more like a conceptual statement than a casting decision. This story will be about experience, consequences, and the subdued dominance of those who have lived long enough to comprehend the rules. What is the true meaning of the Madison? Although narrative specifics are kept under wraps, the Madison is characterized as a modern drama that follows an affluent family as they navigate turmoil following a personal tragedy against the expansive background of Montana. The main family in the Madisons seems to be facing a more internal reckoning than the Duttons, whose disputes frequently manifest in public and political venues. The Madison is anticipated to retain the sweeping vistas, untamed landscapes, and eerie beauty of the American West that fans have come to love with the franchise. However, the show seems more subdued in tone. The tension will probably simmer beneath well-crafted dialogue and well-chosen silences rather than erupting in frequent clashes. It's a Western for a more mature, contemplative audience that recognizes that the most dangerous conflicts aren't necessarily the loudest. The Madison is similar to its main performers in this regard: self-assured, seasoned, and uninterested in establishing its worth via extravagance. How the Yellowstone universe relates to it, the Madison's tenuous connection to the Dutton saga, is among its most fascinating features. The offshoot appears to be intended to run concurrently with Yellowstone, sharing thematic DNA rather than plotlines, as opposed to directly involving crossover storytelling. With this strategy, the show can draw in new viewers without offending devoted ones. Additionally, it allows the creative team to take advantage of the franchise's reputation for ambition and complexity while telling a story free from the constraints of the canon. In other words, the Madison is self-sufficient and does not rely on the Dutton name. A prestige series is indicated by prestige casting. The Yellowstone world is repositioned within the larger television landscape by casting Pfeiffer and Russell, which does more than just create excitement. This is premium drama, not just popular television. A marriage that is put to the test by time, bereavement, and altering power dynamics rather than adultery or scandal seems to be the emotional center of the Madison. It is anticipated that the characters played by Pfeiffer and Russell will negotiate a relationship influenced by decades of common experience. This is about remaining in love when the world you created together begins to break apart, not about falling in love. The Madison is unique just because of that concentration. It's uncommon to see older protagonists on television centers struggle with emotional survival, meaning, and relevancy without being reduced to supporting roles. The Madison's readiness to examine aging, not as decline but as transformation, may be its most alluring promise. At this point in their lives, both of the main characters must make decisions that will have a lasting impact. How to unleash, transform, or safeguard power without losing oneself is the question, not how to get it. In this way, the Madison seems more like a meditation on time than a Western. The upcoming development of Yellowstone, the Madison marks a bold advancement for the Yellowstone universe, one that is deeper rather than louder or larger. The franchise demonstrates its ability to reinvent itself without losing its essential identity by focusing the narrative on emotional nuance and seasoned actors. This spin-off's tone, ambition, and emotional stakes are all defined by Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell. The Madison seems to pose a deeper, more eerie question. What do you do once you have everything and still feel the ground moving beneath your feet? Yellowstone was about battling to keep what you own.